have a guest today on the broadcast, and her name is?
Frederica.
Frederica, is it Dugan? Duggan.
Yes.
Oh, Frederica, talk to me. You had a suspicious breast lump,
Yes.
and when it was 2 centimeters,
Yes.
and it grew to 8 centimeters.
Right.
And tell me about this.
It was in the right breast. And so when they did the biopsy, they had a tissue in it. All the tissues, they could not determine what the tissues were. And so this is the VA hospital that has a high technology lab, and they could not determine what the other tissue was that was in this biopsy they did. And so they sent it to an outside lab, to another lab. I have the medical reports here in my hand, the labs they sent it to, and they still couldn't determine. And so they scheduled me for surgery. And they told me when I go in surgery, if they see any sign of cancer, they were gonna just take off the entire breast, the whole breast. So I was very scared, very nervous. This was...
When did you come to the meeting?
I came to the meeting in May of 2017.
Okay.
And 2015, May of 2015.
2015.
Right, yes. And I sat there in my seat and I was, just checking things out. And I said, I heard all the testimonies, the meeting was going on. I said, Lord, this would be a good night, for me to, experience your miracle, because I believe in miracles, but I never really experienced it for myself.
Just a minute. I love what she said, Lord. See, she was listening to the stories, engaging in the service, but you took a step to the side and said, I'm going to make this personal. Lord, this would be a great night for me. Many of you don't do that. You enjoy the speaker, the music, you get caught up in the moment, but you never applicate. The blood has to be put on, the oil has to be put on, the communion drink has to be drank, the water pots must be filled. You must engage personally. I want you to take this personal. God's after you, He's after your strength. He wants to get you back in circulation. You've been missing in action for a long time. I want you to do exactly what Frederica has done. This would be a great time. Lord, this would be a great time for all of our viewers to be healed. Someone being healed of floaters in your eyes. You're having all those spots on your eyes. They're just disappearing. Floaters. Call the number on your screen. Let my people know that those floaters are disappearing from your very eyesight. Frederica, so look at all this paperwork.
Yes.
Radiology. Look at the radiology reports.
MRI, the PET scan, everything. Yes. So before I could finish talking to God, you just called up for someone with a lump in their right breast to come up, and it was my right breast. I was like, what? So I got out of my seat, but before I could get up to you, there were other people who got up there too, and I was like, huh? And I held back, and you called me up and said to come, and you prayed for my breast, and then you put the lump on the run, and you said to
the lump on the run.
Yeah, lump
on
the run.
Oh my God.
Yes. And you told me to go to the bathroom and check to see if the lump was there. And so I went to the restroom, and the lump had grown from 2 to 8. It was so big that if you look at just the skin, you could just see it.
I see.
You could see it. So I took my bra off, and then when I look, I don't see it. I don't feel it. But I feel like a shifting, like something moving around, and I'm like, what is this? I don't feel that firm, huge mass that I would feel. It was not like that. I said, I feel something, but so when I came back, you asked me if the lump was still there. I said, I'm not sure, because it's not where it used to be, and I'm feeling something in a different area, and I am not sure. And you called me up again, and you prayed for me, and you told me that I was not gonna die from cancer. I was not gonna die young. I was not gonna meet an untimely death. You said that I would have to do the surgery, and that I would live to be a full age. And you prayed for me again, and the glory of God came all over me. And I kept saying, glory, glory. I didn't know what to say. All I kept saying is glory, glory, glory. I was slain in the spirit. And I tell you, from that night, it's like all the fear disappeared. The fear was just gone. I had no fear. I went to the surgery and I told them to check again because I don't believe the lump is there. And the surgeon said, we're going in. This lump grew from 2 centimeters to 8 centimeters. We're going in. And if we find any trace of cancer, we're taking off the entire breast. And so no fear, no nothing, because I'm like, go ahead, do what you have to do, because, I know I'm healed. Because from that night, Pastor Billy Burke prayed for me. I tell you, I used to say, when my faith is weak, Lord, only let me feel something in my heart that you have done for me. I didn't have to say that no more because all the fear was gone. And when I woke up out of the surgery now, and I saw that I still had 2 breasts. I just couldn't stop praising God. I've never been so glad, so happy, so grateful. I thank God for sending Pastor Billy Burke at such a time as that. I could still have my 2 breasts. Thanks God. And they keep doing scans. They keep doing MRIs, PET scan, everything. No trace of cancer.
No trace of cancer.
Benign. No cancer.
Now, Frederica, now, am I getting confused? You had a friend that was healed as well?
Yes. After that, my healing, I got a DVD from the church, and surprisingly, a friend of mine came to me, lived not far from me, and she came crying, weeping. She said, "Oh, Frederica, the doctor has diagnosed me stage 3 cancer, and I don't know what to do." And she said, because she saw all her friends die, she said, I'm gonna die, leave my husband, leave my children. She said, I cannot die now. And she, took her dress off and she showed me. She said the pain, the same right breast and axillary up under her arm, it had reached up under her arm, stage 3. And she said, I don't know what to do. I said, come to Billy Burke's meeting. And I gave her the DVD of my healing service and that you prayed for me. And she we were trying to get the church, calling the church, trying to get a date to find out when Billy Burke was going to be back. When we spoke to someone at the church, they said they're not sure, but he wasn't going to be back for a while. So the doctor called her in and tell her we have to treat this aggressively and we have to act now. But she didn't want to do the chemotherapy because she know how poisonous that is to the body and how dangerous that is. She said she think that kill you faster than the cancer. She said, I got to get Billy Burke. Where is churches? Where is address? I said, I don't have a phone number for him or anything, but I'm going to try to get him. And we kept trying to get him. They say he's all the way up in Tampa. We live down in Miami Gardens. And we just couldn't get a hold. When we called the number that we got to call you, Pastor, we got a recording. And so she had to go in the flight the next day, for the doctor to do the plans with the chemotherapy, everything. And I said, you know what? I'm going to pray for you. I gave her the scriptures. I was in class in school, and Dr. Dan had given me all the healing scriptures. And I said, you take this. And, I was so moved with compassion. I think it was the power from when Pastor prayed for me that night and put the lump on the run. And I told her the same thing. I said, you got to believe God. You got to have faith. That lump is going to be on the run. And so when she went into the doctor, she made copies of them. She took them like a pill 3 times a day. Certain ones in the morning, certain ones in the afternoon, certain ones at night before she go to bed. And when she went into the doctor now and to run the scan and everything, I didn't tell her the result. It was like about 2 weeks after the doctor told her to come in, and she thought, oh God, it was the worst. No, we have to find Billy Burke to pray for her. And this is the worst. No, I prayed for her and everything. And when she went to the doctor, she said, the doctor said, I've never seen anything like this before. She said, you had stage 3 active cancer. Now the PET scan is telling me that there is no cancer. No cancer, not a trace. she started praising God. She said, oh, she did not want to do the chemotherapy, and God gave her her desire. And let me tell you, they've been doing tests, running everything, because no trace of cancer. The cancer is gone. She wanted to be here but just couldn't make it. She had to work, but she will be here another time to give her testimony.
Frederica, I mean, I'm telling, what an amazing story for you.
Lump on the run.
Lump on the run.
Yes.
I'll never forget that. And your friend, your story has already ricocheted over into somebody else.
Yes.
It's going to continue to have that ripple effect.
Yes. Yes.
Amazing,
I
amazing.
believe.
I'm looking at all of these reports. If you had to get the cameras in on this, I'm reading all of these reports, and what comes to my mind, all of these one verse, Isaiah 53:5, by his stripes we are healed. One simple little verse, and look at all of this, covers all of that and more. He's healing many, many of you. Oh my. Thank you for being on our show today.